is usage of technology to be able to make the life of the SME easier, healthier, and how they can live longer because of technology. A very quick 2 to 3 minute your take on how are you doing it and how should all the advisory ecosystems should be able to do as far as the transformation is concerned on using technology.
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, Samir. And keep in mind, technology can take you to a very high scale very quickly, very rapidly. And we all understand that you can't really grow the organization from 10 people to 100 to 1,000 in 3 months' time. Wherein technology can enable you to service 10 users to 100 to 1,000 users within months, without any difficulty, as long as you build in the right way. Which SMEs aren't really, appreciating at the moment. I think though they have started to understand that there's a demand, there's a need for them to go digital. There's a need for them to automate many of their processes. I think their focus still remains the short term, which is a problem. They aren't really willing to invest in the long-term growth of the company, or many of them don't necessarily have the long-term vision. I think they probably are living by the day. And mainly because I think, again, the challenges are different, the needs are different, right? Startup ecosystem focuses more on the wealth creation over a longer period of time, for not just for the founders, but anyone else associated with it. And wherein an SME, I think their focus primarily is not necessarily always on wealth creation, but to build a sustainable business, which is running for a longer period of time. And of course, end of the day, it will result in a wealth creation, especially for the founders. But at the same time, I think technology, unless you adopt it, I think you wouldn't really be able to solve many issues. For example, a lot of SMEs do not have an inventory management solution, which is the basic necessity for any manufacturing firm or any company which is having a lot of moving parts, right? You would not understand what to order, when to order, and how quickly it will be consumed, when to do a reorder, and so on. So an inventory management is very critical. I was talking to one of the SMEs in the pharma sector. They don't really know that whether their sales folks are actually on the ground. Are they visiting the doctors or not, right? Are they really generating enough revenue, which covers their own cost? Now, all these things can very easily be addressed by using some of the very smart solutions available. You can do a geofencing, right? You can understand whether this person is at a particular location. You can ask the person to sign on from wherever he or she is at a given location, and that way you can track the location and show the person is there. You can also, track their contribution to the revenue, and then figure out how the margins are working out. I mean, is every individual covering their own costs and adding more to the company's growth? Because I did notice that one of the companies was actually having almost 15-20 salespeople. Half of them were not even covering their own costs. Now, that's a big challenge. You don't really have well-defined compensation and incentive models. Now, your incentive models could also be automated to a large extent. You can put the right structure and policy in place, and you can automate that so that for every order, the incentives are calculated. Similarly, a lot of focus has to be on innovation. I mean, when you come to SMEs, there are delivery solutions which are coming in, which could be using, many of the IoT solutions or drones. Though it's a far-fetched thing for many of the SMEs, but it's a very interesting thing they could look at. For example, a warehousing company can look at how the utilization of the space is happening within the warehouse using the IoT solutions. Because more the efficient the warehouses are, better the leverage, better the revenue for them. They can project when a particular warehouse space is going to be empty. Trucks can be, tracked. The routing solutions have come in to track the movements of the vehicles. So I think many of these innovative things can be implemented by SMEs. And trust me, again, as I said, technology can give you what you otherwise would not be able to do if you're purely people dependent and people-led organization, in the sense resource based. So you need to be adopting technology sooner than later if you have to scale up the operations 10x, 20x, 100x.
Yeah, and absolutely right, Sunil, and numerous examples there. Thanks for that, for educating our audiences and readers. In my experience, also, the basic issues that entrepreneurs are dealing with are very interesting. They're dealing with the issues of how transparent they should be, because technology brings in transparency, right? Then there are issues with respect to the deficit, because they have just heard about digital transformation adoption, they read about it, they talk to people, but frankly, if you ask me, they really need to go to the basics in terms of what is it going to do to your specific processes and operations, such as revenues, interaction with the customers, supply chain efficiency, etc. And you have 10-15 minute conversation, they don't know, right? I think those are all the impediments between the espoused theory and the realized sort of theory, unfortunately. So I think there is a lot of groundwork that needs to be covered. It's a given that technology is going to be a fantastic sort of tool, but the user of the tool doesn't know how to use the tool. So I think that's the fundamental thing that we must solve for our SMEs. But I'm very glad that you mentioned, and I must tell all the viewers and readers that AceNet, Imbibe, as well as Wadhwani Foundation, Wadhwani Advantage have focus on technology, using technology for the benefit of the SMEs and all the beneficiaries that we are talking about, whether it is digital transformation, whether it is use of AI, data analytics, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, it's a must. It's no longer whether. It's about when you want to sort of implement it and how you want to implement it.